I encourage everyone to get out there in peaceful protest of what is happening in our country and express our voice around the country we believe in. So get out there and join the No Kings event near you, and please take care. I'll see you later.
Republic, and we are here to keep it that way today, tomorrow, and forever to come. Thank you. Danger, danger, there's a pedo in the White House! Danger, danger, there's a pedo in the White House! Release the Epstein file! Pedo in the White House! Danger, danger, there's a pedo in the White House! Danger, danger, there's a pedo in the White House! Danger, danger, there's a pedo in the White House!
I love that t-shirt.
It's like, look at Portland. It's like burning to the ground, and you've got people out there in inflatable costumes.
Yes, yes. And Fallon doing this.
But we also know there was a ProPublica investigation that more than 170 Americans have been detained by ICE, with 20 held for more than a day without being able to contact their lawyer or a loved one. And that's what the No Kings protest is about. Donald Trump says, I'm not a king. And yeah, we get it. You're not a king. You wish you were a king, and you're running this administration as if you should have those kinds of rights. The lack of respect for the Constitution and the laws of this country are astounding. And Trump even told Kristen Welker when he was on Meet the Press a few months ago that he didn't know if he had to uphold the Constitution. And in preparation for today's show, I just wanted to go over, a few of the things that people who are going to be out there on the streets peacefully protesting are upset about. Starting with the basics, signing an executive order to do away with birthright citizenship, which is literally in the Constitution. Sending troops into blue cities.
Oh, you mean anchor
unilaterally implementing tariffs, which Congress gets to do. I already talked about the 170 Americans who've been locked up. Cracking down on the First Amendment, detaining students for op-eds you don't like, targeting law firms, universities, reallocating funds appropriated by Congress to fund your big ICE force, firing inspectors generals that are looking into your friends like Elon Musk, making billions off of crypto scams, and your kids are running all over the world making deals. And the Trump administration has defied 1 in 3 judges that have ruled against him. And you're seeing that from judges appointed up from Reagan up to Donald Trump that are saying absolutely not, you are breaking the law in taking some of these actions. All of that is what No King's Day is about.
Then why are they always dressed?
So the most important advice I can give you is, while you're exercising your First Amendment free speech rights, don't put your hands on a police officer. Don't do it. Stand up, stay strong, get loud, demand a redress of our grievances from our government, but don't put your hands on police officers. Don't throw things at police officers, a sandwich or anything else, because that will give police an excuse to put their hands on you. And I can tell you, I've seen it too many times. Once people engage in a hands-on way, everybody's adrenaline shoots through the roof, and it can be very difficult to bring yourself back down and control yourself.
I would say to Rep. Grijalva, if her Democrat colleagues and leadership have not informed her, you can't be serving your constituents right now. You have an office. She's hired 16 employees. They keep going by and knocking on the door and pretending it's locked. If it's locked, it's because Rep. Grijalva is choosing not to represent her constituents. She can be handling their calls, directing them appropriately, and doing lots of important work right now.
Hi friends, Adelita Grijalva, Congresswoman-elect from Arizona. So this is cool, right? Look at what happened. We got access to the office. Check out this super cool printer. I can't print to it though because I don't have a government email. So in the office, we have several desktops. They have an administrator passcode. I don't have that. Check out this cool stack of laptops. Guess what? I can't unlock them. So I found this stack of flags when we came into the office. So if you're waiting for a flag from Arizona CD7, I'm sorry, I don't have a budget to be able to mail these to you. This is where I've been on a personal laptop to do Zooms. Yes, I have access to an office, but it's kind of like someone saying, here's a car, and it doesn't have an engine, gas, or tires. I'm unable to have services in district. Democrats are here working. I'm here working, and I'm not even sworn in yet. We need to get to work, get on the floor, and negotiate so we can reopen the government. This Republican shutdown needs to end.
Every president in modern history has understood the gravity and seriousness of deploying troops abroad and in very rare and urgent occasions at home. Every president except one. President Trump says he wants to go to war with Chicago, use it and our people as a training ground, and is sending military troops against the wishes of its people in order to punish his political opponents. One of these instances is not like the others. And to Stephen Miller, who is pulling the strings for Donald Trump, Illinois is not a place you can conquer, and our people are not your subjects.
We heard Trump use an argument that Republicans have repeated over and over recently. I want to slow this down and share it with you because a reporter asked him how many workers he'll lay off, and here's what he said.
Well, we may do a lot, and that's only because of the Democrats. And as you know, they want to be able to take care of people that have come into our country illegally, and no system can handle that. And so we're totally opposed on that. But we can't take it. We just can't do it. I'd love to do everybody. I'd love to do the whole world. But our country can't handle people that come into our country illegally. And they want to give them full health care benefits. They want to open the wall again. Can you believe it? I can't even believe it.
He can't believe it, and neither can I. That is because, for fact's sake, it's simply not true. Trump and his Republican allies keep shouting that Democrats are shutting down the government to give undocumented immigrants free health care. That is categorically false. As the New York Times points out, the Democrats' proposal does not provide free health care for those immigrants. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for federally funded health care. That includes Obamacare subsidies, as well as Medicaid, Medicare, and the Children's Health Insurance Program. What the Democrats' proposal would do is not make them suddenly eligible for any programs. Instead, it would help millions of American citizens keep their existing health care. Now, I am absolutely sure of this. You are going to hear this argument from Republicans a lot over the coming days. So please remember the facts.
So gravitate to the love, y'all. People killing, people dying, children hurting.
Oh my God. So Donald Trump just admitted that this $40 billion Argentina bailout will not benefit the United States at all. Listen.
Argentina, what's the benefit for United States in helping this way Argentina?
Just helping a great philosophy take over a great country. Argentina is one of the most beautiful countries that I've ever seen. And we want to see it succeed. It's very simple. I mean, we don't have to do it. It's not going to make a big difference for our country, but it will in terms of South America.
It's not going to make a big difference for our country. But guess what? $40 billion would. Did you know that that would pay for an entire year of ACA premium tax credits? Yes, it would. But I guess we're Argentina first now. Although I guess it's not really just Argentina. I mean, we're getting a ballroom for $200 million. We got the Qatari jet for $1 billion. Qatar is getting an air base in the United States. There's tons of money for ICE, tons of money for golf trips. Oh, and don't forget the hedge fund managers who are the beneficiaries of this Argentinian bailout. American billionaires who don't want to lose their investment. It actually just really feels like it is American workers who are constantly getting the shaft. So to summarize, if you're Qatar, you're going to make a lot of money off of Donald Trump. If you're Israel, you're going to get a ton of money from Donald Trump. If you're Argentina, $40 billion from Donald Trump. But if you're an American who is demanding the government help pay for your health care, You're Antifa. Talk about America last.
Listen, I started making these videos to be humorous because I love Portland and it's not on fire, and kind of took a comical tone. But I will tell you that I'm concerned with what I saw tonight. I did go to the ICE facility. There were people in frog costumes, unicorn costumes, there was a DJ, and people have a right to peacefully protest. Portland's kind of doing it in a great way. They're doing it in a creative way. And they're kind of showing how ridiculous everything is. But I did see an ICE agent, federal officer, like tackle someone very aggressively to the ground. He just tackled somebody really aggressively. And people have a right to peacefully protest in America. That kind of aggression is just, I mean, I guess it's to be expected, but it's concerning, and it didn't feel right to me. And so I'm just going to say that too.
Disgraced former New York Congressman George Santos is now a free man after President Trump commuted his 7-year prison sentence last night. Santos' lawyer confirmed he was released from a New Jersey prison last night after serving less than 3 months of his full sentence. The former congressman reported to prison in July after pleading guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. Trump indicated he thought Santos' sentence was extreme and justified the pardon by comparing it to a 15-year-old controversy involving Senator Richard Blumenthal, where he misrepresented his military service. The president wrote on Truth Social, and I'm quoting here, "This is far worse than what George Santos did, and at least Santos had the courage, conviction, and intelligence to," all caps, "always vote Republican." George has been in solitary confinement for long stretches of time, and by all accounts, has been horribly mistreated. Therefore, I just signed a commutation releasing George Santos from prison, all caps, immediately. Good luck, George. Have a great life.
Which is why we have to stand tall right now, alongside everyday Americans who want us to be standing up right now as well.
If you decided to come to the protest today?
So I'm Antifa, and we have radical ideas like democracy, healthcare, freedom, housing, and so we're here to protest against fascism.
But I remember like some Republican leaders are saying these protests or Antifa are very violent, anti-American. How do you respond to
So the
that?
question is, how do I respond to Republicans who say this is a Hate America rally? The same Republicans who've shut the House down for 3 weeks without swearing in a duly elected official in Adelita Grijalva. The same Republicans who would rather shut the government down than give health care to Americans. The same Republicans who are hiding a file full of child traffickers. The same Republicans who will do anything to circumvent our government, who will wrap themselves in a flag but burn the Constitution and call it patriotism. So if I'm on their bad side, God damn it, I'm doing it right.
Hell yeah! So if Trump is watching this protest, what message do you want?
If Trump's watching, what do I have to say to Trump?
What do we say to Donald Trump?
Go fuck yourself! That's your answer. Thank you.
Fuck Donald Trump!
Fuck Donald Trump!
Say fuck Donald Trump!
Fuck Donald Trump!
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
Hi there. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's 11:22 a.m. in the Pacific time zone here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hi there. Nevada. Hi there. It's currently 73 degrees, 72, 73, I guess. And we have a high of 81. It's going to be a really nice day. Good day to March. Aaron West with a thumbs up saying, thank you, Aaron. Thanks for letting me know. I'm coming through loud and clear, hopefully. Anna Moore says, I was going to read that one. A current one here says, I'll be checking in, lurking on my way to the protest. Stay safe. You too, Anna Moore. You stay safe. You stay safe. Lots of people marching. Who's marching today? If you guys are marching, let me know in the chat where you're going, what march you're going to be at, and all that kind of good stuff. And if you're already there, report on the turnout. I'll be heading out later on after I do this live stream, and ours isn't starting until 4:30. But of course, in Las Vegas, that 4:30, that's what's known as Rise and Shine. That's when everyone's getting up and getting ready to go gamble some more. So anyhow, yeah, I'll be up there on New York for a little bit, and hanging out with Hal. I'm just saying that I'm not. Hal and I didn't. We didn't set anything up. I'm just saying Hal said he was going to be there, and I'm going to be there. So whether we even see each other or not, we're still technically. I think we're still hanging out together. So I'll take it. Anyhow, Damon Dog is here. Hey, Damon Dog, good to see you in the old chat room. And the old driver's on. Sandy Foltz is here. Hello, Sandy. Don O'Leary was here. Now these are some really old posts. I'm assuming these folks, well, I don't know. You might be here, you might not be here, because I think those were posted like hours and hours ago. Search for You says, yay Dodgers. I mean, yay Ohtani. Why not yay Dodgers? He's a Dodger, so like it or not, he's a Dodger. And that was probably the most amazing baseball game I've ever watched in my life last night. Dodgers beat the Milwaukee Brewers. So they won 4 games, then they swept them in the NLCS. And that one, Seattle won last night. So I misspoke yesterday about the games. So it was tied 2 games apiece. Seattle won last night. Was it 6-2 or something like that? And I saw the grand slam. I was going back and forth watching that game. It was tied up 2-2. I think it was like the 7th or 8th inning. Mariner, what's his face, hit that grand slam. So now Seattle is up 3-2, but they are going back to Toronto, which is the place where they won the first 2 games in Toronto. So it's not like they can't go back to Toronto and win, because they've done it. They just did it a few days ago. So we'll see how it goes in that series. That'll be game 6. I believe it's today. We'll see how that goes. So we're just the Dodgers are just waiting for the outcome of that series to see who they're going to face in the World Series. It's going to be either Seattle or Toronto. But last night, with folks, in case you don't realize the significance of what happened last night, I mean, never ever in the history of baseball have you had a pitcher go in, dominate another team, strike out 10 batters, didn't give up any runs. That run scored, I think, was after Ohtani, because they scored a run, but afterwards. And then also hit 3 bombs, 3 home runs. One of them completely out of the park, and just really dominate. So I can say yay Ohtani, but he's a Dodger, and it's a team sport. It's a team sport. It is important to have a good team around you, because, as you know, Ohtani played his first 6 seasons or whatever it was in Anaheim over with the Angels, and they never even made the postseason, not even once, I don't think, right? So it does matter to have a good team around you, no matter how good you are. But Shohei Ohtani did things that haven't been done. I mean, they were bringing up records from 1900 that he broke, or things that hadn't been done since then. That's when they were still playing on. I don't think they even had a pitcher's mound and shit like that. So, anyhow, enough of baseball. Today is about no kings, right? No fucking kings, man. No King's Day. It's no King's Day. So, no thrones, no crowns, no kings. Donald Trump is such an idiot. He's like, I'm not a king. yeah, motherfucker. We know you're not a king. I don't know what I hate more, Donald Trump or all the people that fucking follow him and like him. I mean, my God. Hey, there's Sandy Foltz with a $2 super sticker. Thank you so much, Sandy. That one came in way early too, but yippee. There's your yippee going out to Sandy Foltz. Is my hand behind the thing? Let's see. Oh yeah, look there. But thank you, Sandy Foltz, for a $2 super sticker. Now that was before the goal was set, so that didn't go to the goal. But in case you're wondering why, if you, I don't know, can you guys see the counter? That's like a little counter thing. We got 22 watching, 35 thumbs up, so that's a great surplus. But I would like to get more people in here watching. So, but I think today everyone's watching. You're either out marching, or you're watching all these other protests, because they're. I was watching them too. They're all over the country. I put some of them in the intro. There's this marching. On the East Coast, they've been marching for hours now. I think Christina Sun and Ghost Squad is out there. I saw Christina posted a little short. She's out there with her hoodie on that she was so proud of, and so good to see Christina out there marching. And it looks like it was a great day. It looked sunny. It wasn't going to rain on her. I know there was some concerns about that. Falcor is here. Hey, Falcor, good to see you. Slava Ukraini, absolutely. So there's Aaron. I do see Aaron. Thank you so much, Aaron, for being here. I do appreciate you. Fancy is here. Hello, Fancy. Don O'Leary. Williams here. Hey, William, good to see you in the driver's lounge. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tom Bias is here. Shh, I'm busy procrastinating and masticating. As long as you don't procrastinate too long when you're masticating, because You'll go hungry. I don't know. Yeah, Don O'Leary. Bethany S. Arbaugh is here. Hey, Bethany, good to see you. Thanks for coming in, hanging out. Alvin Stube is here. Alvin Stube is in the driver's lounge. Big Hook, the big Canuck is here. Big Hook says, so is Trump's Secret Service detail working unpaid? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Because I don't know if they have, ways of doing things that when we know Trump, he pulls strings and he allocates or misappropriates money he's not supposed to. But so I don't know. I don't know if they're getting paid or not. But if they're not getting paid, they're probably pretty pissed off, those SS guys, because Secret Service, not to be confused with other SS, because that really cuts into their ability to hire hookers, as they are wont to do. Anna Moore's here. Hey, Anna, good to see you. Anna says hello to everyone. Says, hope you're safe as we peacefully protest. Please don't take the bait. And that, I don't think that can be said enough, because probably somebody's going to take the bait somewhere. So let's keep reminding us, everyone, to not take the bait. So hopefully, it won't happen. All right, just skipping down in the chat a little bit here. Anna Moore says, I'll be checking, lurking on my way to protest. Stay safe. Anna Moore, where are you at? If you're able to go into the chat, let us know where you're at. Let us know where you're or at least or at least the general area where you're protesting and stuff. I'd like to hear about the protests and the marching and how big the turnouts are and everything else. Don O'Leary says, Trucker John, hook with Hal. I might see him down there. I don't know. Elizabeth Martinez is here. Hey, Elizabeth, good to see us. Elizabeth says, Buenos dias, John. Bernie Sanders was awesome, disabled, painful to walk, stand, but in soul we stand strong. Yeah, I get it. I don't think I'm going to be walking too much. I mean, I don't know. I find it harder and harder for me to walk around with my old deteriorating body. But I'm going to give it a shot and walk around a little bit. And if you can't do it, yeah, you can in spirit be there, be with us in spirit. We'll take it. We'll take it. And I did have right after Hal, the thing I went to. I don't know if this was from Andrea, like put everybody onto this, but it's got Banner and Backbone. And I think I saw, I think that's Bernie on there. Very, very nice day. Looks like a lot of us across the country have been blessed with a really nice day. Look at that, blue skies, and just nice. Elizabeth Martinez says, have 3 TVs on watching Peaceful No Kings protest. So it's like No Kings Central over there at Elizabeth Martinez's house with all the TVs playing. Sandy Fo says, hello, Sandy. I said earlier, and I also, in case you weren't here, I did give you a yippee for the $2 super chat or super sticker. Roxanne 1979 is here. Says, howdy, TJ and loungers. No throne, no crowns, no kings. Absolutely. There's Fancy's yay Dodgers. Absolutely. Let me just skip on down here a little bit. Roxanne 79 says, I've been watching lots of marches on YouTube all morning. Yeah, I watched a few. Then I was busy cutting together that little intro there. Aaron West says, I have an oyster roast at my boyfriend's parents' house to get to soon. That sounds fucking delicious. I don't know if I've even had oysters, but an oyster roast, it just sounds good. I don't, and especially you're on the coast there, East Coast. So I bet it's all nice and fresh, and it's just I've never done that, but it just sounds fucking awesome. So have a good time, Aaron, with that. Big Hook, I believe Trump is out of the country right now. He's running away. He's a runner. We got a runner. Trump's a runner. At some point, when is he going to just defect to Russia? Please just do it. Just defect to Russia already and get it over with. Let's see. Roxanne79 says Secret Service loves putting their lives on the line for free. Typical business move from con man. Oh, bless my little soul. Bless my little heart. Let's see. I'm skipping down a little bit here in the old chat room. The old chat-a-rooney. Michael McAndrews is here. Hey, Michael, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Michael says, I just got back from the local protest. A lot of people were there. Oh, cool. Was that up in the Upper Peninsula? Upper Peninsula? Was that in the UP? Was that up there in the UP? Upper Peninsula? You know, I do have difficulty speaking. But I'm glad there were lots of people there. I hope you took lots of videos and pictures to document it. Elizabeth Martinez says, yes, I am watching 3 different demonstrations in San Diego. They said Trump is supposed to release some missiles. Wow. What, is he shooting some more people in boats or something? Michael McAndrew says, I put a link to that fantastic video on my website. What's your website? I know you can't post links, but can you spell it out so we can check out your website? I didn't even know you had a website. Fancy says, I'm working on a new one now. Song is done. Oh. Fancy just pumping out the videos, man, with the songs and everything. Wow. Look at you, Fancy. I can't wait for that. Can't wait to see the new one. Roxanne79 says, Jen made a great sign, front and back, and one big one he's going to hang on overpass that says Trump fucks kids. Wow. That got dark. But yeah, just hit him with the truth. Hit him in the face with the truth, right? If they don't like it, too bad. Petrazi 20 is here. Petrazi. Petrazi 20. Hello, TJ and Chad. Hello, back at you. Petrazi. Get Petrazi. Get me Petrazi. I don't know why I do what I do. Fancy says the next one is fun. Well, the last one was fun too, I think, right? It was pretty fun. Bethany Arbaugh says, who went to the rally? They had one in Athens, Ohio. Shouldn't go fight with parents. Mom is a Trumper. Dad is a Democrat. Well, take Dad then. I fell, so they didn't think I should go. We fought, I think. Well, if you fell and you're not able to walk, then maybe you should stay home. I don't know. It's up to you. It's unfortunate you guys are fighting, and all that kind of stuff. But just be careful. And if you can't make it, you can't make it. I mean, Of course, Skinner Weible says, I just got an email from Midas Touch, Substack, and yes, he ordered live munitions to be fired over I-5. They did a test run last night over traffic. What do you mean? Wait, I'm confused. What do you mean they're firing over I-5? Where are they landing? That's the important thing. What are they hitting? What are they aiming at? Are they just going out into the ocean or something? Because I-5, especially down in San Diego, it's really close to the coast. Is it just going over I-5? And there's lots of military bases down there. There's naval, a big naval base, and there's a marine base down there. Camp Pendleton and all that shit. And there's the naval things. So they could be what? Are they shooting missiles like over the interstate and out into the ocean somewhere? I want you guys are making it sound like he's attacking San Diego or San Diego. Let's get some fucking details here, because I don't know. I didn't hear about. I haven't heard about Trump firing missiles at his own people. That would be, because if he did that, I'm sure that I would have heard of that. But if he's just firing them out into the ocean or something, then I guess that's why it's not a story. But if he's, is he actually like? Are there U.S. targets or something? I mean, can we get some details, please? Or do I have to go and off the page and off of my thing here and go look myself? I probably have to go look myself, don't I? All right, I'm gonna do it. You guys made me do it. Now I got to do it. Okay, I'm gonna go over here to look this up, and whatever this is, I don't even know if this is Google or not, but let me do the work. Let's see here. So, is Trump firing missiles at Americans or at San Diego? What do you got? What should I put? At Americans. Let's see what comes up. The Snopes 2 days ago says unpacking claim Trump planned show of force by firing missiles into California during protests. Rumors. There were some rumors, according to that was 2 days ago. Here's a video. Trump to fire live missiles at California No Kings. This was a YouTube video. It says that he to fire doesn't mean they did fire. Here's another video. Newsom calls out Trump's reported plan for missiles. These are reported plans. This is just Trump, probably just Trump, spouting shit. Okay, here's Snopes. Unpacking claim Trump planned show of force by firing missiles into California during protests. Rumors that a major California freeway, that would be I-5, will be shut down for a missile demonstration were refuted in a statement from the Marine Corps. I told you, they've got Camp Pendleton right there. See, I know some shit. Guys. I know some shit. Key points. An article, this is Snopes, an article by self-described pro-democracy media outlet Midas Touch, which cited unnamed sources, reported that U.S. President Donald Trump's administration was planning a show of force by launching missiles into California on October 18th, 2025, the same day as planned No Kings protests, noting that Interstate 5 could be shut down. Governor Gavin Newsom shared the claim on X, writing, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance think that shutting down the I-5 to shoot out missiles from ships is how you respect the military. I don't even understand what that means. I mean, to shoot out missiles from ships. So the ships are in the ocean. They're not on I-5. Well, they're aiming the missiles at I-5? And that's why they're going to shut down I-5? because they're gonna blow up I-5 or at least a portion of it. And anyhow, so I'm still confused. The U.S. Marines posted a statement on their website that said all training events will occur on approved training ranges, and they have huge ranges out there, guys, and comport with established. They do all kinds of military training out there. They do war games out there. They do that shit all the time. Okay, so back to the thing. And no public. Now this is from the Marine Corps. No public highways or transportation routes will be closed. Newsom later acknowledged this statement on X. The Los Angeles Times reported it was Newsom's office that considered the closure of the interstate to accommodate the event. So they were thinking about, Newsom was thinking about shutting down I-5, I guess, as a safety precaution. As activists planned another Kings No protest on October 18th, to voice discontent with the administration of Republican U.S. President Donald Trump. This is from Snopes. A rumor spread on social media that the president was planning a show of force by launching missiles over California. The rumor claimed the administration planned on closing Interstate 5 to shoot out missiles from ships and into Camp Pendleton, a training facility for the Marines about 80 miles southeast of LA. Users across social media sites such as Instagram, X, and Facebook shared the claim. Some suggested Trump planned on using the excuse of a military showcase in order to intimidate No Kings protesters, citing the administration's attempts to characterize the protests as anti-American. Okay, that's Snopes. Now here's me talking. I have never ever in my life heard of ships firing into Camp Pendleton. I even though that is they do war games, they do training out there. I've never heard of them shooting missiles into that. That's ridiculous. I mean, that would be a first for me. I lived in California my whole life, just about. Now, anyway, back to the Snopes report. Many Snopes readers emailed us to ask about the veracity of this rumor. On October 15, 2025, the Marines posted a statement on their official website announcing a live fire amphibious capabilities demonstration at Red Beach Camp Pendleton that would be followed by a community beach bash at Del Mar Beach on Saturday, October 18th, 2025, to mark the Marine Corps' 250th birthday and America's semi-quincentennial. The statement said the capabilities demonstration will feature integrated Navy and Marine Corps operations across air, land, and sea, and assured the public that all training events will occur on approved training ranges and comport with established safety protocols. The statement also confirmed no public highways or transportation routes will be closed, and the White House would be capturing the event on film for a November 9th television broadcast. So basically, they're just getting, they just want B-roll, something to look cool on their stupid November 9th thing. Anyhow, back to their report. Vice President J.D. Vance's press secretary, Taylor Van Kirk, told Snopes via email that Newsom was spreading fake news and fear-mongering. He added, Vice President Vance is eager to be in California on Saturday celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Corps alongside United States Marines. It goes on how the show of force rumors started. They're saying Midas Touch cited unnamed sources in the thing. A variety of media outlets, Independent, Yahoo, Newsweek, Daily Beast shared the reporting from Midas Touch. So I guess it's all fucking Midas Touch. On October 15th, Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, a vocal detractor of Trump, who has said the president is has an unhinged California obsession, reposted Midas Touch. It all goes back to Midas Touch. Newsom wrote, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance think they're shutting down the I-5 to shoot out missiles from ships is how to respect the military. Put aside your vanity parade and pay our troops instead, referring to the government shutdown. LA Times reported it was Newsom's office that considered closure of interstate to accommodate the event, stating the office was weighing the closure amid safety concerns about reports that Navy ships would fire live ordnance over the freeway and onto the base, which, like I said, I don't think I've ever heard of that. Later that evening, the X account of Newsom's press office shared the same article and posted, this would be an absurd show of force and totally uncalled for during a government shutdown when members of the military cannot even get a paycheck. However, on the morning of October 16th, Newsom's press office reposted another user on X who pointed out the Marines' statement on the matter. So, New York Times reported on discrepancies between information coming from Trump administration and Newsom's office. So this is just a big back and forth pissing contest. In sum, here's the sum. It says the language used in 3 claims originated with a media outlets reporting from anonymous sources on subsequent amplification by Newsom. As we are unable to verify these claims with the primary source, we have opted not to put a rating on this claim. So Snopes is like, what the fuck? Anyhow, I think it's much ado about nothing. But the way you guys make it sound in the chat is like, oh my God, Trump's going to be firing on U.S. or U.S. Some of it sounds like he already did. You guys make it sound like he's already fired missiles into crowds of people, into U.S. citizens. Simmer down, folks. Simmer down, for fuck's sake. This goes back to Midas Touch being all clickbaity. I've talked about them before. They're really clickbaity, and they need to watch that shit. I think they do a lot of good stuff. They've done a lot of good stuff. But, you got to watch that clickbait, Ben, and all those brothers. Watch the fucking clickbait shit. You're just getting people worked up into hysterics. You're gonna cause a fucking, you're gonna cause a fucking stampede or something, for fuck's sake. Anyhow. Yeah, watch Christina Weibel. Just take what Midas Touch says with a grain of salt sometimes. All these unnamed sources. Maybe they should start getting some named sources. Maybe they should start adhering to some true journalistic practices of, verifying and cross-checking before they just run with something. Fancy says, yes, they closed the freeway, TJ. Well, I guess they decided to close it for some reason. I don't know. Fancy says, not into land. According to the Snopes report, they were quoting the White House or whatever, that they were going to shoot from ships into the training range. Into those ranges. They've got those gun ranges and training ranges on Camp Pendleton. So, Sandy Folds, hey TJ, you like Orange Crush soda? Yeah, sure. I can't remember the last time I had one, but it's all right every now and then, I guess. Michael McAndrews says the missiles will be shot at a firing ground near some bases. Camp Pendleton, yeah, I mentioned all that. I'm just trying to see where I kind of left off here when I was reading all that. So, Petrosi 20 says, when I was a kid, my family was on the way to San Diego and passing Camp Pendleton. The sky was an eerie green. I've never forgotten that. .007 Kevin. Hello, 007 Kevin. Good to see you. Are you on your dragon? Did you roll in on your dragon here? No, or fly in, I guess. Roxanne, I heard about the missile thing yesterday. Yeah, the thing I was reading was from 2 days ago. It just I don't know, the way you guys are posting about it. I thought we were under attack or something. Sandy Full says Trump is nothing but a rotten president. Yeah, he's pretty bad, Sandy. He's pretty bad. The worst we've ever had, I believe. He's the worst president we've ever had. Doug G's here. DJT is a clown. A clown? You think I'm a clown? Roxanne 79 says, just trying to intimidate us with our own military. It's just Trump spouting off some shit. David Weiss from Denver says, hello from Denver, Colorado. But anyhow, I mean, I gotta believe that whoever is in charge of firing off the missiles, the actual people that do it, if those missiles were aimed at Interstate 5, let's say, which is the busiest freeway, certainly in the state, and one of the busiest freeways in the country, that they wouldn't do it. They would say, no, we're not firing. We're not firing. Now, if they're firing, if they've done this before, where they fire into the range, and they've got it all cleared, and they know, that's something different. But if they're firing at the freeway or at some people where civilians are at, I got to believe that no one in the military would do that. They would say, no, sir, no can do. Civilian targets are there, or civilian, not targets, but just civilian people are there. And we are not firing on our own civilians. They're just going about their business. So let's just simmer. Let's just simmer down on that. Michael McAndrews, my dad grew up in Denver. Michael McAndrews says, we used to go to grandma's in Denver every year. I really love the Denver area. I love Colorado. It's one of my favorite states. It's one of a handful of states that I would consider living in, other than California. Like I've said before, I think probably Oregon, Washington, maybe Idaho Panhandle area, Colorado, maybe Montana, or states that I could see myself living in, other than say California. I hear that New England is really pretty. I've been to New England, just along the I-95 corridor, basically. Uh, so I've seen it through the lens of a truck driver, and at truck stops, and at some of the deliveries I made, which were like industrial areas and stuff. But I've heard it's really beautiful there, like and stuff in some of the New England states. I haven't really, so I can't count those out. But there are other places that I would count out. I would never want to live in Florida. I would never want to live in Texas. Really, anything along the Gulf of America, I wouldn't really want to live there. I think basically because of the humidity and the heat is the main reason. Just too goddamn humid for me, for my liking. Besides the politics of a lot of those states. So yeah, Colorado is a really cool state, I think. David White says, I just went to an overpass, no kings. I woke up not feeling good, bad food. I went there and realized I forgot my phone. Don't. Michael McAndrew says, my wife lost her phone for a couple hours and almost had a stroke. Mr. Bagnoul, I can't hear you. I have 3 ears. Okay. Paul Burrows is here. Hey, Paul, good to see you. I live in Idaho, Oregon, and Washington State. Wow. You live in 3 of the states that I would consider moving to. Bertrazi 20 says, I would like to live in Vermont by the Canadian border. It is so beautiful. Yeah, Vermont. I have been through there. And I've seen the fall colors and stuff, and it is very beautiful. And I've been through there in the spring and summer and stuff. Yeah, Vermont's nice. Vermont is nice, but I'm not sure if I would get used to like East Coast or not. I don't know. There's something about changing coasts that's kind of it seems like a big deal, but really I guess it's not. I guess it's not really a big deal. Yeah, it's the No Kings March today, Mr. Bob Newell. It's because we hate the idea of being ruled by a king. Because that's not America. Being ruled by a king is not America. Now, maybe Mike Johnson has other, fantasies about that, but we are, at least so far, we're not a a dictator. We're not under a dictatorship. We're not under a soul's authoritarian, and we're trying to prevent from going to that. David Weiss says it's crazy expensive here now. I rented my first place for $460 with a garage. I'm now paying $1,400 apartment complex. It's okay. I hope to ski this year, but age is freaking me out. Vision issues. Yeah, that happens. Christina says bye. Okay, see you. Have a good day. Tom Bias says I like to watch a show on TV called Car Chase, a cop docu-series about the helicopter coverage of cop car chases, usually in California, and a lot of chases on I-5. Yeah. Bethany Yarbrough says, Rock says 79, health problems. They blame for the stroke. because Bethany had a stroke. Ginger's mom is here. Hey, Ginger's mom, good to see you. It says which 3 states? I just got here. Oh, Paul Burrows says that he lives in 3 states: Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. And I had stated earlier, because David Weiss from Denver chimed in, and I was just saying how I really like Colorado, and that Colorado is one of the states that I would consider moving to or living in other than California. And then I went on to mention probably Oregon, Washington, Idaho. The Idaho Panhandles portion of Idaho I like better than most of the other parts of it. And then I mentioned maybe Montana. And then I said that I've heard that a lot of the New England states are very nice, but I really haven't been there enough to really make a decision one way or the other. So that's sort of a recap on that. Roxanne 79, Grinder Johnson. Yeah, little Mikey Johnson helping to shut down Grinder every chance he gets. Ginger's mom says, I grew up in Minneapolis, got married and moved to Long Island, New York. Been here 32 years. Can't wait to retire and get the heck out of here. Wow. Are you going back to Minnesota? Going to go back to Minnesota? Petrozzi 20 says, my family moved from California to Kentucky, and it seems like a drastic change, but it's not. You get used to it. Yeah, I suppose so. I know I have a cousin, same age as me, and he was born and raised in California, not too far from where I grew up. And then about, I guess maybe, I don't know, how long's it been now? 5 years ago? Maybe longer? Maybe 10 years ago now. He moved to freaking, I think, Tennessee or West Virginia. I think West Virginia. And looks very, very nice, very nice and green and plush, and he seems to be very happy. But that seems like such a big, kind of drastic move. Bethany says, Trucker John, I like to live in California. Yeah, California's nice. Mr. Bob Newell says, what's up? In the 702. Chris Doug says, I walked 2 miles to my local No Kings rally in Gutenberg, New Jersey. About 100 people present, very fired up crowd as people drove by beeping in support and cheering. Awesome. Ginger's mom, Colorado's beautiful. And Ginger's mom says Montana is nice. Roxanne 79 says, I'm noticing a lot of people absent out representing. That warms my heart, and keep praying they stay safe and have fun celebrating and strategizing. Paul Burrow says, my home is in St. Maries, Idaho, North Idaho. Hey, Kinky Streets is here. Kinky, good to see you. Kinky says, Montana has 6 times the gun deaths per 100,000 people than Rhode Island. What a place, huh? Yeah, maybe I don't want to move to Montana then. I just stated Montana because I've driven through there, and I think it's very, very beautiful. Very beautiful, picturesque. The rock. I guess that's the Rockies mountain range. Is that what goes through there? The Grand Tetons or whatever. I don't know what the hell it is, but very beautiful and picturesque. But yeah, when you get into the nitty gritty, maybe I don't want to live there. But Montana is one of the states I thought, we should have a big movement to move blue people, to move Democrats into places like Montana and Wyoming that have the population is so little that we could quite possibly flip those states blue just by moving a few thousand, 10 or 20,000 people over there, that would vote Democrat. I have, I guess you have to look into it and really look into that, but I'm just sort of, off the top of my head thinking about that. Kinky Street says every red state has more crime than any blue state. Yeah, so Trump should be sending the National Guard to those states. Why is he sending them to the blue states? Ginger's mom says I'd like to go back to the southern suburbs of Minneapolis. Yes, which is very lovely. Minneapolis is very beautiful, I think. I mean, it's been a long, long time since I've actually been there. My dad was from Minnesota, but he moved to California when he was like 18 or something with his dad, with my grandpa. And then, but we made 2 trips back to Minnesota, one time in 1968 and one time in 1972. And that's when we still had lots of family there. Now, since then, all the family that's still living they all moved to California eventually. But I remember those trips to Minneapolis and St. Paul in 68 and 72, and it was beautiful. And then as a truck driver, I did make a few trips through there. Again, only basically seeing it through the lens or through the windshield of my truck on the interstate and through some truck stops and and through whatever deliveries I made in the outer kind of industrial areas. But I drove through. I remember driving right by what was then the brand new baseball stadium. That's been there a while now, like 10 years or whatever. But and just going through there in the spring and the summer, it is really beautiful, and there are some really nice neighborhoods there, and I just remember it being a really nice city, really nice city. Let's see here. Ginger's mom says, "Yay, Don! My brother and family went to protest in St. Louis Park, which is in Minneapolis, right? I think it's not St. Louis. I'm pretty sure that's in Minneapolis." She says maybe 2,000 people there. Nice. See, I've heard anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 different events across the country. And so when you multiply these numbers out by 2,000 or 2,500, they're hoping it's going to be in the millions of people. Roxanne says I would move to San Diego or San Francisco. Nothing against San Francisco. I would take San Diego, I think, just because I think the weather is better in San Diego. I think overall, day to day, year round, San Diego, I think, probably has the best weather in the entire country. In terms of if you like just like moderate, not too hot, not too cold, weather, then it's San Diego. If you're a person that likes 4 seasons, then you might want to go to some place like Denver or something, or some other place, or maybe the New England states. But yeah, King Street, Grand Tetons, or Wyoming. Oh, really? I thought Grand Tetons hit over there. But yeah, anyway. Luck Dragon's here. Hey, Luck Dragon, good to see you. The sun has more to worry about than us. Imagine what God is worried about right now. I don't think God's worried about shit. If I know the truth, if there is a God, I don't think God worries about fucking jack shit. And as far as the sun is it's not sentient. So I don't believe the sun is sentient. So I don't think the sun is worrying about anything. Roxanne79 says, I hate the cold. It makes me angry being cold. I learned that living in Virginia, plus it triggers my sciatica. Oh, Roxanne, yeah, you need to move to San Diego, Ben, if you can. Love Dragon says, it's 67 at Hayward. We're tight now. Right now. I'll edit. Right now. That's not too bad for Hayward. Tiki Street says, number one reason I wouldn't want to live in California is everything is more expensive there. Literally everything. Well, that's true. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but I mean, yeah, it's true. Their cost of living is higher than probably where are you at, Vermont or wherever we were at, or upstate New York. Um, that's why I lived in the desert my whole life, because in California, because it was you say it's everything is more expensive there. That's in LA proper. That's in San Francisco. That's in San Diego. That all the big metropolitan areas. That is true. If you live out in Victorville, like I did in Apple Valley, in Palmdale, it's very, very reasonable. Very reasonable. Probably cheaper than where you're living at. Um, Ginger's mom says, "Very nice, John. The Twin Cities are pretty." David Weiss says, "I grew up in Bloomington, Minnesota, south suburbs and suburbs indeed." Um, Hey, Robert Perez from down San Diego way. Hey, Robert Perez, speak of the devil. I mean, we weren't really speaking of you, but we were talking about San Diego. San Diego. Robert Perez says, "Hello, Trucker John, and to all on the march, please be careful and keep your head on a swivel and enjoy your time with friends." Are are you able to do any marching today, Robert? Probably not. You might be watching those grandkids. Jorgen Johansson is there. Hey, Jorgen, good to see you. Roxanne 79, hi, sweetie. I see you on many chats that I'm on. Have to say hi. Hey, Jorgen Johansson, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming in, hanging out with us for a little bit. Petrozzi 20 says, "I would like to take a river tour of the Mississippi from Minnesota to Louisiana." Do they do that? Can you take like the old riverboat? Those like the big paddle boats? That'd be cool. Luck Dragon says, "My grandmother, I think one, but one, WON probably, Miss Minnesota, around 1964, but she didn't place in the top 5 for Miss America." Well, hey, she did good, though. She did good. Yeah, Roxanne 79 says, "San Diego has ideal weather for me." Yeah, that would work for you, Roxanne. The whole, or it doesn't have to be exactly San Diego, but that area, that whole area around there. Um, Robert Press says San Diego is God's country, lovely weather, and a beautiful view. Yeah, see, Robert's down there. Robert knows. He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's like I said, if you don't care about because some people want 4 seasons, and that's fine. They want a nice snowy cold winter, and they want a nice spring, and they want a hot summer, and then they want a nice fall with the changing colors and all that kind of stuff. And if that's what you want, then probably not San Diego, because it doesn't get too cold, it doesn't get too hot usually. I mean, sometimes there's some freaky little weather things that go through, but for the most part, it's pretty nice, pretty mild year round. Um, but yeah, it's so if that's what you want, and I think it's a great, like you said, great view, great, uh, just beautiful, beautiful beaches. Chris Doug's here. Hey, Chris Doug says, "Has anyone else seen the aerial view of Chicago? No Kings. It is packed with thousands of protesters." No, I haven't seen it. I was just looking on. Let's see what's. I don't know what they've got. This is stupid. Let's watch something else. Um, well, speaking of Minneapolis, Right here on my recommended search thing is No Kings Protest from St. Paul, Minneapolis. I could probably turn this and we could have that playing in the background, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, look at there. There's Minneapolis, right there. And then maybe I could move this over or something. So look at there. There's look in front of the Trump Tower. Look at that Trump building there. Yeah, that. Let's see. What did it say? Make sure that says it's Minneapolis, St. Paul. Look at all the people. Look at all the people. Thousands of people. Look at the signs. Freedom of speech. Release the files. Hands off. Well, maybe this is the Minneapolis news station. I wonder if this is Chicago. Because I saw something, a sign that says something about Chicago. Because I don't know if Minneapolis has a Trump building like that. This might be Chicago. Anyhow, so there they are protesting. This is a Minneapolis station. Fox. This is Fox 9. They're doing protests from across the nation. That this might be Chicago that they're covering right now. I was just trying to see if there's another sign. I thought I saw a sign or somebody said something about Chicago on the sign, but I couldn't really see it. But yeah, here's part of the protest downtown. In downtown, oh, it froze for some reason. Why did it freeze all of a sudden? Did I freeze too? No. Okay. Let's see. Now I don't. Why did it freeze? Why did it freeze? Come on, guys. Maybe they just switched cities. They may have switched cities.
Did I tell you my first name and how to spell it?
What happened? What is happening? My TV just shut off, I think. Oh, there.
Yeah. No. I wanted to make a difference.
So yeah, these are protests from around the country. I don't know where this is at. I don't really want to play the sound because I don't know what YouTube. If I have this playing in the background, I don't know if YouTube will shut me down or not. I really don't know. So I don't know if having the sound on makes a difference or doesn't make a difference. Maybe I'll keep the sound off just in case because I don't know if how they detect things or whatever. But we can have that running in the background since it is No King's Day today, No King's Protest today. Dave Weiss says, I used to work at Southern Montgomery Ward's Mr. Steak and Bridgman's. Thomas Jefferson High, grad 74, went to Bozeman, Montana for college. Nice. Kikuchi says, fuel and food is expensive everywhere in California. Yeah, I guess so. I can tell you though, it's cheap. Gas is generally cheaper in Victorville than it is in downtown San Francisco or even LA. I mean, it could be quite a bit. Sometimes, especially if the prices really went high, it could be a dollar or two cheaper. If like when gas, remember during the pandemic when gas was spiking at $5-6 a gallon, $7 a gallon, it's like one or two places, like in San Francisco or whatever. In California during that time, it was probably in Victorville, let's say, and out in the desert, it was probably like $5 a gallon or something. And then so when it was $5 a gallon in San Francisco, it was probably $3 in Victorville, or so um, maybe where you lived, if let's say it was $3 a gallon in Victorville, maybe where you lived it's $1.80 or something. I don't, So you're right. It's I guess maybe everywhere in California is more expensive than wherever it is you're from. But what I'm saying is, you can't paint the entire state with the same brush. Teacher says nope. Nowhere in California is cheaper than Vermont except for Burlington, Vermont. Well, good. I'm glad you like where you're at and that it's cheap. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying the high desert areas, Victorville, Apple Valley, Palmdale, Lancaster, is a hell of a lot cheaper than LA or San Francisco or even the San Diego area. That's why I never lived in those areas, because it was way out of my price range. And that's why I lived in the desert my whole life, because it's literally dirt cheap. Lucky Dragon says, like I said, me and Trucker John think alike. Petrozzi 20 says, the last place I lived in California was Colton in San Bernardino County. Very familiar with Colton. Just over the hill. It's just right over the hill from where I grew up. Right on the other side of the Cajon Pass there. Fancy says, I'm going to take a nap. All right, Fancy. Get that beauty sleep. Ginger's Mom says, later I'm going to watch the Minneapolis protest parade that just started. Kiki Street says, I remember when California and Colorado were reasonable. That was many decades ago. Kiki Street says, tell the USA what stuff costs in California. Laughing out loud, they will run far from it. Jim DeBay says, Trucker John, I finished up my Trump fucked kids overpass banner and I'm heading out. I made the reverse migration to New England. Two worst things: 10:30 p.m. West Coast baseball and no morning NFL games. What are you talking about? The games start at 10 a.m. That's when I'm having breakfast during the morning games. Robert Perez says, yes, today is my third grandson's birthday today, so I am going to be the clown for the big Mexican shindig party here in Spring Valley. By the way, I've been designated the piñata for the party, laughing out loud. Well, happy birthday to your grandson, Robert, and I hope you have a great day. I hope your grandson has a great day. And I'm sure you're gonna, have a good party for him. Jen at the base says, Trucker John, also, in all my years living in California, did I ever have to shovel rain? Right. Big Hook says, as I recall, seasons in California are AC on high, AC on medium, AC on low. Depends on where you live. I lived in the desert, and we used to get snow every year in the wintertime. Now with global warming, there's not as much snow, but it still gets cold in the wintertime. So, and where you're cranking up heat, you're buying a cord of wood. If you have a fireplace, you're going to buy a cord of wood. You know, you'll go through that in the wintertime if that's how you're heating. People have wood stoves. They've got fireplaces. They've got of course regular gas heaters and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not really sure where these people are in California that don't have to turn the heater on in the winter. Maybe San Diego, probably San Diego area. But like I said, I lived in the high desert my entire life, and we would get 3 or 4 pretty decent snowstorms every winter, usually starting from November through February. Sometimes we'd get a late spring or early spring snowstorm. So I don't know. I don't know where these imaginary places are that you guys talk about. Janet Bay says, Trucker John, also, I think the Otani character is pretty decent. Yeah, I think he might make it. I think he might have a future in the league here. David Weiss says, helicopter views of Denver protests are online. KUSA 9 News. Mr. Bob Newell. Now, Mr. Bob Newell, as you've noticed, I've been ignoring most of your stuff because it's been kind of crappy. But this one kind of is interesting. Mr. Bob Newell says, if someone gave you a free apartment in Trump Tower, would you live there? And I know that a lot of you in this chat are going to say, oh, hell no. But you know what? I might take that. A hell of a lot better than where I'm living now. And if it's free, as long as the place isn't such a dump that or like I'm afraid it's going to fall apart, or as long as they don't have more bugs than I already have in this place. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I might say yeah. So don't judge me. Don't you dare judge me. Jorgen Johansson says, where's the black shirts that Dumbo have sent out? How about a strike and going and doing protests for a week? Well, a lot of people, and myself included, we've been calling for a big general strike. But we'll see how these do. Yeah, we'll see how these No Kings things do. Because I think they're going to have more of these to follow. This isn't going to be the last one, and they're hoping that with each round of these No Kings protests, that there'll be more and more and more people. And if it's one thing that the top 1%ers really don't like, especially the top 1/10 of 1%er, the big top major multi-billionaires and oligarchs and the big major multi-billion-dollar companies and things. The one thing that they really fear, the one thing that they really fear the most, I think, is when the people come together, when the masses of people actually get off their butts. And I nothing against people who can't go if you have physical ailments. I'm not talking about you, but I'm just talking in generally speaking, when people get off their butts and they go and they protest and they march, and they see millions and millions and millions of people coming together, and a lot of these folks I think supposedly are on both sides of the aisle here that are doing this. It's not just Democrats. There are supposedly, and maybe we'll get some sort of polling on this, but supposedly there's supposed to be people from the other side of the aisle that are out there because right now Donald Trump has a 61% disapproval rating, only a 37% approval rating. So if it's one thing that they fear, it's when the people stand up together and we stop fighting for a minute, fighting with each other for a minute, and we focus our attention on them, and that gets them worried. And that's what we need to keep the pressure on. That's why we need to keep doing these No Kings protests, and we go from a few million people to 20 million people, and then the next time we go to 40 million people, and the next time we're at 60 million people. The next time we're, so to the point we're at 100. Can you imagine if we had 100 million people? That's 1/3 the population, and that's not counting. I mean, you kind of count like old people, like myself, or like people, old people or people who have physical limitations, and children. You kind of knock them out of the numbers. And so, what if there's really like 150 million? Let's say eligible people. Those are like eligible voters and people that could do protests and stuff, that could physically do the protests and the marching. And what if we had 100 million of them out there? I mean, I think that's the goal, is to work towards that. I think they're going to keep doing these No Kings marches, and I think they're expecting like 20 million people to show up at these. When you count them, when you add up all the 2,500 locations, so they get 20 million. So the next one they do, they want that number to grow each time they do this. That's the goal. Look, Dragon says we need to show force, scare them enough to get their imaginary AI robot girlfriends to disagree with them. DPD 5844 says, oh, and for your information to red state voters and for those of you who chose to sit at home in 2024, SNAP will not be disturbing your benefit just in time for Thanksgiving. Remember, elections have consequences. Yeah. And we need to make sure that when they stop getting their SNAP or any of their benefits for food and for housing and for Medicare and Medicaid and all these things, we need to make sure that they know that was because of Donald Trump and the Republicans that did that. Democrats did not want that. We tried to stop it. We couldn't because we don't have the numbers because the folks didn't show up, like you said. CR's here. Hey, continuing resolutions here. Hey, CR, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in to the Old Drivers Lounge. Sandy Foltz, the Giants said the Giants are beating the Eagles 27-17. Is there a football game today? A Saturday game? Oh, wait, that's an old game, Sandy. The Giants played the Eagles. Are you rewatching it? That was last week, wasn't it? When the Giants played the Eagles? Wasn't that last Thursday or something? I think you're rewatching the game, by the way. Spoiler alert, I think. Anyhow. Luck Dragon says, okay, guys, leaving to the rally finally, No Kings. All right, Luck Dragon, like I said, be careful, head on a swivel, but still have a good time, and go get your body out there, be another number. We need the numbers. Roxanne79 says, TJ from Jen, can you please clarify to TJ that if he were to relocate to New England, there is no. Oh, I thought you were talking about from New England to Portland. I thought you lived in Portland. I thought you were on the West Coast. Anyhow, you said reverse, and you said it was reverse because I was talking about from going from West Coast to East Coast, and you said you did the reverse. So I thought you went from East Coast to West Coast, and then you were talking about like the bad things about the West Coast was that there's no morning games. See, that's the problem with your writing. You're not you're not clear in your writing. You have to learn how to be clear in your writing. You have to learn how to not be ambiguous in your writing, Jen. Luck Dragon says, I have a sign that says hot cats instead of hot dogs because I love free speech. This is going to be hilarious. Well, that is pretty funny. I think that is pretty funny. DPD 5844 says, TJ, there's a reason why people were moving out of Trump Towers. Ask yourself if his country clubs are cesspools filled with rat droppings and bed bugs. Imagine the conditions of Trump Tower. I think I did have a couple caveats in that. I think I did. I did place a couple caveats. I said that, unless it's like crumbling apart and bringing apart, or unless there's, more bugs than I have currently, so I kind of mentioned some of those things. But hypothetically, I look at it as a hypothetical because it's never going to happen. It's completely, something that's never going to happen. So I look at it hypothetically. I don't look at it realistically because it's not a realistic thing. As far as being offered the thing, as far as the offer is concerned, that's not realistic. So it's hypothetical. Jorgen Johansson says, "Go the golden elevator." Remember Dumbo's first comment after 9/11. Now Trump Tower is the tallest in town. Yeah. Light again, Mr. Patriot. But yeah, the guy's a sociopath. Trump. Let's get established that Trump is a sociopath. So when things like 9/11 happen, he has no sadness or grief for what he is seeing, happening, and all the people dying and getting blown up and jumping out of the Trump Towers before they, because they didn't want to burn. They'd rather jump out from the 100th floor than be burned and all that kind of shit. So, but he didn't give. He's a sociopath and he doesn't give a fuck about any of that. Jorgen Johansson says we have a king in Sweden, but he has no power just for PR. Yeah, that's a whole different thing. Yeah, that's because a lot of those countries, kind of like England, right? The royal family in England, I don't believe has any power. It's all, Parliament has all the power, I think. So yeah, some of those countries that are coming out of those old, royal systems. And have changed over to more democratic type systems, but they still keep their royal family, as a figurehead, as PR, Fresh out of the showers here says, I'm in West Tennessee. Are you going to go march today? Fresh out of the shower? Are you marching? Yeah, Roxas says Jen does live in Portland. He used to live in New England. That's what I thought. That's why I thought when he was talking about, but then he said, that there was no morning games. I thought so that's why he confused me, because I know on the West Coast there's I didn't know he was talking about the bad things about the East Coast, because I thought he was talking about how he moved to the West Coast. It's like I said, he's unclear. He's the bad writer. Fresh out of the shower says, we have a bridge going over the Mississippi River. Is that where you're going to, are you guys doing the march on the bridge? Sandy Full says Palm Desert California is a nice place. I lived in Palm Desert for a short time. I went to school there. I played football there at the College of the Desert school. Junior. It's a junior community college. I played football there. Palm Desert is nice. It's pretty nice in the fall and the winter. It's pretty nice. Early spring's not too bad, but once you get into late spring and summer, it is absolutely brutal. If you're outdoors with the temperatures, absolutely brutal. Worse than here, and this is pretty brutal now, and worse than maybe Phoenix. I think Phoenix area is even worse than Palm Desert, actually. But those Palm Desert, Palm Springs, in the summertime, some of the hottest places in the country. Genesis, don't take it personal, man. I know you want to try to blame my comprehension. No, it's just no. Look at it. You're just a terrible writer. It's just pretty self-evident there. Fresh out of the shower says, I just stopped in. No idea what y'all talking about. Hashtag no kings Jack. All right, well, have a good day. Dry off. I hope you dry off. Get a towel. Dry off. Bethany says, Trucker John, I think maybe I had roaches because, every time I killed one, I said, Beth smashed. Yeah, it's well, since I had the big spray, the super spray on Wednesday, I think I've only seen 2 cockroaches, and I smashed them. And then I've seen these little tiny black things that don't really look like cockroaches, but someone has said those are baby cockroaches. So, and I still haven't got the combat. I need to go get the combat thing. Yeah, Michael says I saw a giraffe and a creature and a frog. Is that what's playing? I haven't really been paying attention to the background there, but I'm not sure where that's at. But they're covering different places, I guess, on the thing I have. Fresh out of the water says I cruise YouTube all day. I'm staying home with kitties. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Fresh out of the shower says I went to Jackson, Tennessee for First No Kings. Oh, nice. Nice. MJ Daniel from up there in Washington State. MJ Daniel says Magna Carta in 1215 in the UK. I'm not sure why that's brought up. MJ Daniel, U.S. Constitution, 1776, F-47, and fuck the GOP. DPD 5844 says the fishing vessels that the Nazi fascist white nationalist regime of pedophiles blew there were 2 survivors. I hope they are safe because I'm quite sure they would want to silence them forever. I know, right? I hope they can get in front of a microphone and tell their story before they get executed. Extrajudicially. Jen, I can read and have comprehension. I just can't talk, by the way. MJ Daniel says, the year I was in Tucson, it hit 117 and Phoenix airport closed due to the heat. Yeah, that's happened here in Vegas a couple years ago where it got so hot. It was 122 degrees out on the tarmac. The tarmac was getting like pliable and malleable, and the landing gear on the planes was like starting to sink in. So they had to close down the damn airport and wait for the temperatures to cool. I don't know if they had to go out and like patch up the things or what, or if it just hardened up again after it cooled down. But yeah. But these temperatures we're seeing now, even for Phoenix and Vegas and Palm Desert, are getting worse. They're getting worse with the global warming. They were already bad enough, and now they're getting worse. MJ Daniel says C1 Roach. That means there are hundreds more, like the Republican Party. Yeah. Sandy Foles says Tennessee is a pretty nice place to live. I've heard good things about it. It might be a little humid for my liking in the summer, but it looks very pretty. I've been through there even in the summertime, and it is what it is. That's why it's so green and lush, because it's so much moisture there and so much humidity. Should I keep this running, or should we look for another channel? This is this is Seattle. I think that's isn't that the Space Needle? I believe that's in Seattle, that one there. Maybe I'll just let that run for a little bit. I think it's kind of appropriate to have that run since it's No King's Day. So yeah, I'm going to be going out to New York today. That's where they're doing. I think they had 2 today. They had one earlier. It's probably still going on. Closer to downtown by the court, the federal court building, the court district, or whatever you want to call it. They had that scheduled for this morning, starting at 11. I'm not sure how long that went. It's probably still going on. But I didn't go down there just because it's harder for me to get around. I don't have a car right now. And the one that's at New York is kind of an easy one for me to get to. And that they're not scheduling that to start until 4:30. So, but all I got to do is hop on the bus right down the corner, around the corner here, and that goes straight up Tropicana right to New York. So that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to take the bus over there and hang out for a little bit, and then I'm probably going to go to work after that. From there, I'll just leave from there. But I'll take some video. I'll see if I can get some. If I can live stream, if we get a good signal from out there, maybe I'll live stream. So be checking for that. So 4:30 my time, Pacific time zone. If you're in the Eastern time zone, that would be 7:30. If you're in the Central time zone, that would be 6:30. If you're in the Mountain time zone, that's going to be 5:30. If you're in Hawaii, I'm not sure. I think is it 3 hours earlier? So I guess it would be 1:30. Just adjust accordingly to whatever time zone you're in. So I'll probably do a live stream, like I said, from New York tonight or this evening, and we'll see what the crowd's like on the Strip. So people are going to be on the Las Vegas Strip for this protest, but it'll be on the sidewalk. It's not going to be in the street. That would be cool. If we had so many people, we could just like shut down the street. That would be kind of cool. Las Vegas Metro wouldn't go for it though, probably. So I don't know. MJ Daniel says Seattle Center. I saw Metallica there at the outdoor stadium in the 90s. Aaron West is here. Says made it to the oyster roast. Y'all have a good one. All right, Aaron, you have a good one. You have a good one. Have a good day. It sounds like a fun time with your boyfriend and the family. The oysters. I've never had an oyster roast. I'm not even sure if I've even eaten an oyster in my life. But just something about it sounds good and fun and delicious and fun. So have a good time, Aaron. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And I don't think Jolie was ever here. I think Jolie might be recovering from her birthday yesterday. That's my speculation, but I don't know. But I think you guys will be okay. Oh, look. This was my plate. I should move that because that looks, with dirty napkins on it and stuff. Here's 2 things I keep handy. Well, here's one thing. I keep this handy. This is my little Allen wrench that came with the chair I'm sitting on. I keep that handy Because every now and then, this seems like one of these bolts always seems to kind of work its way loose. And this is from my daughter's wedding. They had these out. They had little things out. I don't know. This is like a fan, like one of those fan thingies. Um. Oh yeah, you go like that. I guess that's in case if it was hot. So they had these out, but it wasn't really that hot. But it says Mr. and Mrs. Kate and Jaylee Edwardson, July 21st, 2025. So that's their little wedding anniversary thing. So I got this in case I get too hot, in case I get the vapors. Oh my, oh my, Mike Johnson. I do declare. I do declare. So that's what I keep over there too. Yeah, Donald Leary says, "Hey, Aaron West, let us know about the roast." I know, just like I said, I don't think I've ever had an oyster. I may have tried it one time, just to try it, oyster on the half shell or whatever they call it. But it would be so many years ago, and I'm not even sure. But going to an oyster roast, it just sounds good. It just sounds like a good thing. Jorgen Johansson says 9:53 p.m. in Sweden. Do you want to know anything about future? Yeah, yeah. How is life in the future? There, Jorgen. MJ Daniel says here in Olympia, we are going to drive to the protest so we can honk and give them a thumbs up. Roxanne said we didn't like Diane's fan. Does Diane have one? I don't remember. Diane had one. Chris Doug says no kings, no violence reported. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that. Let's not jinx it. Let's not jinx it. Bethany says how cool. So yeah, I think everyone else, besides if you guys are here, I think are out at the thing. Now, is there anybody that we know? Let me see if there's any of my subscriptions that are out. Let's see. There's P Dubs. P Dubs is live. I don't know why this is taking so long. Oh, look at P Dubs. P Dubs is out, I think, on her scooter there or something. Where does P Dubs live? P Dubs is back east somewhere, right? Hello, P Dubs. We're watching you. Let's see. So there's someone's got a. They're getting their chairs set up. People are honking their horns. So that was where P Dubs is. For some reason, P Dubs' screen went black. Here's Tara. Here's Tara Devlin. Tara Devlin is out there. They're watching stuff. I guess that's what I had on earlier. This is from Kansas City. You got a guy there speaking. They're in Kansas City. Here is No Kings. Here's Mercado from Minneapolis. So there's Mercado Media. There's so maybe that Trump building one. Maybe that was in Minneapolis. It wasn't Chicago, which makes sense because that was a Minneapolis station. So there's Minnesota. We got Minnesota. No kings, yeah, no crowns. So there's that. What else we got? Who else we got going on here? Here's Portland. So this is Portland. I think that might be the building that Christy Nome was on top of, maybe? That one time? So this might be the ice. Is this the ice facility? I wonder. I don't know. No sound, it looks like. Jen, are you over there? Where's Jen? Is Jen in the crowd? Jen's going to put a sign up on the freeway overpass. Hopefully he wrote it correctly. So there's Portland. A lot of people down there. That's right off of but they're right by the river. So there's Portland. Northern Flicker's here. Northern Flicker says so many people showed up in my small Oregon town that we barely fit into the city center. It was amazingly awesome. Awesome, Northern Flicker. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming in and giving us that little update. It's good to hear. Roxanne says, let's watch Tara. I had Tara on earlier. Chris Doug says, Bernie gave a great speech from D.C. Donald Leary says, I wish Diane Russell would play music tonight. Chris Doug says, June. No Kings, 5 million. Today, 10 million. Oh, is it 10 million? I thought they were saying it might be 20 million. But Jorgen Johansson, Chris Doug, it is protest, not riot. Yeah, it's just it's a march, actually. I prefer march. Roxanne said, yes, it's spelled correctly. Northern Flicker, that's Waterfront Park in downtown Portland. Roxanne says, yeah, Jen is going where Tara is. He's packed up and getting ready. So that would be Tara Dublin, not Devlin. Because the one I had on earlier was Tara Devlin. She's in the East Coast. I don't have Dublin on here. Let's see. What do we got? Here's North Texas. There's the protest. There's the storms. So no Kings protest in Texas. Look at there. Even in fucking Texas. Look at those people.
We're monitoring storms in our area throughout the afternoon. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Morgan Young, and I'm joined by senior crime.
All right, so they cut away from that. Let's see here. Here's Native Kotsa. You know, she's in Oregon. She's one of Benny Loco's friends. So she's just talking in her car. I thought maybe she was at a march. Here's TV2 live. He's got same ones I had. There's Seattle. Not sure where these other two are. That might be, is that Minnesota? What's that one there? So TV2 live. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that one might be Minnesota, but I'm not sure. Here's these people, Project 2026, and it's looks like maybe Trump being arrested. So that's a good one. So yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff all over the country going on, all kinds of marching and protestings and the things of this nature is going on all over the place. Chris Doug says it's an exercise in free speech and the citizen right to free assembly guaranteed by our Constitution. Absolutely, 100%. Jorgen Johansson says, how about Portland and D.C. where the military walk your streets? Well, there was the one Portland one was that we had, you could see lots of people there. That was that kind of overhead shot. I haven't gotten anything from D.C. yet. I think D.C., that's kind of old news. I don't even know if they're there. Are they still there? Is the military still there? I mean, that's kind of old news now. Chris Doug says, earlier I asked several people if they had received their George Soros paychecks yet. Many chuckle in response. Sandy Fold says, food prices have gone up in Niagara Falls, New York. Sandy, food prices have been going up everywhere. DPD 5844 says, why did the Nazi pedophile pardon George Santos yesterday? The yacht that Maxwell's, I guess Ghislaine, Maxwell's father owned mysteriously caught on fire in D.C. Trump is going to pardon child rapist Maxwell. I hadn't heard about the yacht. So who do you think did that? Was that someone sending a message? Someone, whatever? Roxanne79 says, Don O'Leary, yes, he has a channel. He posts videos there. Not sure if he's going to go live. I just asked him. You talking about Jen? Is Jen going live? Let me know if Jen goes live. I don't even think I have Jen's channel. I'll have to go find it and sub to it. But yeah, I think everyone should go live. If you can go live, everyone should go live, or at least shoot some video. Like, where's Damon Dog the Big Dog? I know he should be up there. He's going to be posting. Because I think Damon Dog the Big Dog is going to DC, I think, right? Watch live, millions of people march in the No Kings anti-Trump. This is from TV Live 2. There's another filled in the fourth spot. That is what's her face? She's in Seattle talking. It looks like. Let's see. There's no volume right now. No audio. So this is the big day, right? Look at this. We've got all these events going on all over the place. Kind of exciting, I'm kind of excited to go and check out the one here in Vegas. And Kiki Street says soaring prices. Wait until 2026 health insurance premiums. It will end Trump. Well, that's the thing that's keeping the Congress closed as far as ACA premiums. Now, Medicaid is a different story, I guess. As far as cuts to Medicaid, but the thing that the Democrats are trying to negotiate are the ACA premiums, and they refuse to open Congress to do that. But at some point, they can't keep Congress closed forever, can they? And it seems like they're going to have to negotiate these prices for health insurance through the ACA exchange or whatever. But yeah, that if they don't, they're going to double and triple and quadruple. I mean, and so tens of millions of people are not going to be able to afford their health insurance So they will be without health insurance. You are absolutely correct, Kiki Streets. But that is the main holdup. And the reason they're holding it up, because I have a feeling that the Republicans probably wouldn't mind negotiating that. But as long as the Democrats are saying that they are going to, when they get that 218th vote, they're going to vote to release the Epstein files, then that's the killer. That's the sticking point. They're more concerned about that than they are anything else. Roxanne says, no, Jen's not going to go live, but he does post videos on his YouTube channel. Why have I never seen Jen's YouTube? Have I ever? I don't know if I've ever even seen his YouTube channel. I didn't know that he had the mental capacity to make a YouTube channel. I'm only kidding. I'm joking. All right. I'm just joking. Sandy Foltz says, TJ, did you have breakfast? Or what did you have for breakfast? I had, because I was running late, didn't have time to make anything or go get anything. So just as I was running the intro, I made myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on toast. So whenever you have toast, that kind of makes it kind of breakfasty, right? Instead of just eating a PBJ like not toasted, I toasted it so it would seem kind of breakfasty. And I had a cup of coffee. So, but as soon as I'm done with this little old live stream, which will be pretty soon, I'm going to go make myself something to eat. Now, last night I was watching the games, and I guess it was still during the first game, but it was towards the end there, and I was getting hungry, and so I ordered through DoorDash from Tommy's Original Chili Burgers. If you've never had Tommy's Original Chili Cheeseburger, then man, you're missing out. And every now and then I like to have one. Every now and then. And so I ordered me a Tommy's Original chili double chili cheeseburger with chili fries. And I'm still savoring that. It was delicious. And I had that last night when I was watching the baseball games. So yeah, so there's that. I got that. So I got that going for me. Yeah, I got that going for me. Northern Flicker says, Jorgen, no military in Portland. We won't allow it. Jorgen Johansson says, Ruxlin79, I have a channel too on YouTube, but only one video that I made 2 to 3 years ago with my best friend's dog, Ellie, in the dog garden. Should show some friends how it looks here. Ellie of Expectations. Roxanne79 says, apparently they are not paying SNAP in November. I have a friend who's freaking out about it. We are strategizing means another bill doesn't get paid. Yeah, just the hardship that Donald Trump is creating for so many people, causing, and like you said, like Tiki Street said, this will be the end of them. I really hope to God, pray to God that this will end. The Republican, at least the Republican majority, and we can get rid of Trump eventually. I just pray to God that this all, that people learn from this lesson. But so many people don't, and they don't see it, or they get misinformation. They think it's both sides do the same, or they believe, when Trump blames the Republicans, they believe that. This is not really, the Republicans are the ones that are bringing you SNAP, that are in favor of funding SNAP and funding welfare programs and funding social safety net programs. It's the Democrats I hope I didn't say Republicans earlier. It's the Democrats that are for that. It's the Republicans that are pick yourself up by your bootstraps, you fucking pussies. That's their deal, because they're like, I got mine, fuck you. And we're like, hey, look, there's people that need some help, and we're just trying to help feed people. And that's not a bad thing. That's not weakness. That's fucking, humane. That's being humane. Tika Street says Christmas gift debt on credit cards plus soaring health insurance premiums. Northern Flicker, Trumpstein files. Don O'Leary says, oh my God, Josh Besias, running for Ward 8 in Minneapolis, just came to say hi. Awesome. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool that he's out there and pressing the flesh, I guess, out there. Chris Doug says, for your information, the beautiful weather across our nation today shows that the Almighty is on our side. I don't know. The other, the maggots say the same kind of shit. Like when Trump won the election, they're like, it's because God wanted him to win. Our prayers were answered. So that kind of shit kind of cut both ways. I know you're a religious guy, and that's fine. And I don't mean to demean your beliefs or whatever, but I'm just saying that kind of mentality, it goes both ways. Because the maggots claim that God wanted Trump to win. DPD 5844 says Mike Grinder Johnson gave Congress yet another week off. The governor or either the AG of Arizona has said if the newly elected congresswoman is not sworn in soon, they will sue. What the fuck? Why wait? I thought I heard that they were already suing, but maybe not. Maybe that was just still part of the threat. Mr. Spock is here. Hey, Mr. Spock, live long and prosper. It says, howdy, everybody. Still trimming weed. Just rolled up a 0.5 G hash joint. Roxanne79 says, Grinder Mike is a slave, and the goal is to punish the people as much as possible. I think the ultimate goal, is to never have the Epstein files ever see the light of day. That is priority one, I think, coming down from Trump. Roxanne says they would love to make us like Gaza. I'm not so sure. I think they would like to make us like the old Gilded Age, where the robber barons and the oligarchs run everything, and then the overwhelming majority of us, are basically just working poor, just working, I don't think it's quite like Gaza, but just to be working poor, where we just make just barely enough, and just barely enough to survive, and that we're just always too poor and broke to actually do anything. I guess I don't know what the fuck, but I don't think it's like Gaza. I don't think they want to make us like Gaza. Hey, Diane Russell here. It's good to see you, Diane. Diane the Elder, as Diane has said to call her, because there are two Diane Russells, and this Diane Russell is a little bit older than the other Diane Russell, so this is the elder. Lest anyone be confused. But thank you, Diane, so much for coming in. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, so I appreciate you coming on in. Diane Russell is jealous of Mr. Spock with that hash joint. Diane says, Happy No King's Day. Absolutely. So yeah, I've just got playing in the background some of the stuff that's going on around the country. Chris Doug says MSNBC reporters saying that the march has a festive and celebratory atmosphere, which is great, and that's exactly what they should be reporting. I'm glad they're reporting that in the first place. MSNBC is at least reporting it, and that's exactly what we want. We want it to be celebratory and festive, and that's why a lot of people are wearing the frog suits and the other suits, the costumes, so whatever images they try to get, it's not of us being militant and throwing Molotov cocktails or whatever. I highly recommend seeing the movie One Battle After Another. Anyhow, so all the images, or most of the images they get, it flies in the face of Donald Trump's narrative that the city is burning down and it's all in destruction. It's all this violence and this is Antifa, they're a terrorist organization, blah 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 blah. That's why people are wearing the suits, and that's why people are dancing. They're playing music, and it's festive, and that's what it needs to be. That's exactly what it needs to be, and I'm so glad that at least MSNBC is reporting that. And that's another one of the things of the goals, is to get so many people out there that the mainstream media can't ignore it. They have to cover it because there'd be so many people out there. So let's just if you can get to one of these events, go to it. If not, I understand there are physical limitations people have. I understand there are transportation limitations. You got the transportation limitation. And there's all that. I understand that. But if you can get to one, get to one. And even if it's just for an hour or two, just do it. Just if you can. And if you can't, then just be supportive. And like we say, go to the YouTube channels, like, subscribe, and share, and get their those images out there. Roxanne79 says, that's right, peaceful and loving, celebrating, give me liberty or give me death. Stinker's here. Hey, Stinker. King shit. That's what Trump is? King shit? King shits and pants? Instead of Von Shits and Pants, or whatever, what was it Michael Cohen called him? Von Shits and Pants? It could be King Shits and Pants. All hail to King Shits and Pants. Shits in the pants. Hey, Donald. Hey, Donald, you need to change your diaper, Donald? Hey, Donald. Chris Doug says, yes, Diane Russell, there are no Marxist, Hamas, Hezbollah, America haters to be found anywhere. Just citizen patriots that love our country and our freedoms. Yeah. Look at there. Look at the people singing and playing drums and shit. Football. Sandy was on the Football Network station. Yeah, Sandy, that's a repeat of a game, but it's not a current game. And so I won't tell you the final score in case you don't want to know. If you're watching it. Robert Perez says, never forget the Nazi belt buckles saying, got mittens. Got mittens. God's with us. Oh, is that what that means? God's with us is a very arrogant statement for anyone to say. Yeah, I guess so. Even the Nazis thought God was on their side, I guess. Northern Flicker says the world hates us now because of Felon 47 and his big fat mouse. I think the world hates us, yeah, because we were stupid enough to elect this motherfucker, and because of all the shitty he's doing, the shitty stuff he's doing. Not so much for his big mouth, but for all these fucking tariffs. Well, to which they're like, okay, fuck you, we won't do business with you. And there's enough business where we can go elsewhere now. You know, yeah, but he's doing so much stuff that he's not really being really super supportive of Ukraine like he should be. He's certainly kind of fucked over the Palestinians in Gaza with this fucked up peace deal that doesn't seem like it's a peace deal to me. Lots of reasons for the world to hate Donald Trump and to hate us. I kind of hate us too, quite frankly, for voting for this motherfucker. TJ Sanford says, speaking of bugs, TJ, how is your bug problem going? Well, I was talking about it. I've already talked about it. Like I said, since the big spray on was it Wednesday? I've only seen 2 cockroaches, but then I've seen some little. I think that might be little baby ones sometimes crawling around. But you know, they're going to come back out again. It's either this Wednesday or the Wednesday after that. Either next Wednesday or the Wednesday after, or the following Wednesday, and do another super spray. I'm calling it super spray. That's not what those are my words, not their words. And I'm going to get those combat bug killer things where they go in and they eat some stuff, or they bring it back to their nests and kills. It's supposed to kill every bug in the nest. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I promise I will get those combat. And then I'll let you guys know how that works. Because having the traps really keeps them from crawling all over the place. They just go into the traps and die. But I like the idea of the combat where they just take the poison back to the nest and just wipe out the whole nest, hopefully. Robert Nicholas says, I don't see people in yellow shirts. Yeah, I don't think very many people have yellow shirts or like yellow. I did see one guy wearing a yellow shirt that it looks like he dragged out, and he didn't look too happy. I was like, yeah, the yellow, yeah. But not a lot of yellow. Like, there's some guys there. It looks like a couple yellow shirts. There's a yellow shirt. But not like to the point where the whole thing is yellow. I think that they sort of sprung that on people in the last minute, and most people are like, I don't have a fucking yellow shirt. And I don't want to go out and buy one. Have you seen the price of fucking things today? You know? There's Trump and who's that behind him? I don't even know who that is behind him. Let's see. So what else is on? So that TV2 Live was good. I kind of like having the 3 screens up. Mercado, he's in Minneapolis. There's Mom's Russo. That was 2 hours ago. I don't know if she was at an event. I guess she was coming out of her event. There's Mom's Russo from 2 hours ago.
I was the one who spoke to him because I know I can keep my cool. So you see what happened was, yeah, everything was good.
She's got like a No Kings
I've got a video coming
thing on her face.
here in a little bit once I get home and get it edited. That will.
Okay, so apparently she has some sort of run-in with somebody there, I guess. Let's see, that's Hal Sparks. So all this stuff is from really early, 2 hours ago.
Here's news. Here's some news places. There's Oakland, San Francisco. Here's the Bay Area. I guess this is Oakland. It says Sky 7 flies above demonstration place across. Oh wait, country. I thought it said Oakland, but anyhow, this is somewhere either Oakland or somewhere around the Bay Area. There's you guys from there. You probably know where that statue is. I don't know. Happening now. There's no audio on most of these. Seems like helicopter shots. Uh-oh. So their camera kind of went out. Let's see. Oh, there it is back. I guess they were zooming in. So that's what it looks like in the Bay Area. Here is Portland. Here's a blurry shot from Portland, Oregon. Sandy Fold says, where are the Trump Towers located at? Well, the main Trump Towers, like I guess the first one you should think of, I guess, is the one in New York City. I've walked by it. It's right at pretty much, as I recall, right in front of Central Park in New York City. So it's a nice location. If someone were to give me a free, I don't know, condo or whatever there, and it was, like I said, if it wasn't crappy and full of bugs and you know, all those type of things, I probably would take it. But again, it's a hypothetical, so. Rubber Press says, oh, Johnny, I never knew what heartburn was until I started eating those nasty Tommy's burger. What? And chili burgers were great going down, but spent the rest of the night trying to keep my acid down. I must have a cast iron stomach because I had a double Tommy's chili cheeseburger and chili fries, and I feel fine. Absolutely fine. So DPD 5844 says, no, TJ, their plan is to kill as many of us as they can. They want a world with no people of color, no sick, no poor, no population, no. Oh, wow. Speaking of cockroaches, I just saw one. I don't know where he is. There was a cockroach. It was on the arm of the chair here. I got to get those combats. I don't know, I flicked it off, and I don't know where. I can't see it now. But dang, that was that. The cockroaches are still alive. They're still alive and kicking. Anyhow, yeah. So where did I leave off? Oh yeah, they don't want this, or coming known as eugenics, and it's about time people face reality. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree. I really think all they want is for Republicans to always be in power and to never have Democrats in power. I think they just want to be in power. They want to run everything. And it always comes back to no taxes for the rich and almost no regulations for them. But you know, you're entitled to believe what you want to believe. And what you say, it's not outlandish. Sometimes people they'll say things that I think are just totally ridiculous. What you said, DPD 5844, that I don't think that's totally ridiculous. I don't think it's totally out of the question. But I'm not, and there probably is some of those people that like was it vote or whoever, or Teal, they're into that shit. But I think the overall strategy is really just to always be in power and always be in the majority, and to really do away with the Constitution and just run it like authoritarians, and just be and not be a free country. They don't want us to be a free. They want us to be like fucking Putin's Russia and Xi's China and all that shit. Donald Leary said, Robert Nicholas, hello. I don't own a yellow t-shirt, but I had my yellow paper clip on. Chris Doug says, most logical, Mr. Spock. My cable system has a newer channel with original Star Trek series airing at 8 p.m. nightly. Last night was Mirror Mirror, a total classic episode. Janelle Walker's here. Why yellow? Someone did explain that, what yellow was supposed to represent, and I don't remember. Maybe someone in the chat can recall. But I remember there was a reason why yellow was supposed to represent something. And I don't remember. I have to hear something like 3 or 4 times before I kind of remember it. Diane Russell says, my laptop crashed again. I swear to God, every time I get into a chat room, my PC crashes. That sucks. That sucks, Diane. Jorgen Johansson says, we have hated Dumbo for at least 20 years in Sweden. We see him as pure poop. I've never liked him either, even way back, going back into the 80s. Not that I even really gave him much thought, but whenever he would show up on some sort of gossip show or even, like the Inquirer, his big fat ugly face was always in there, and it was always about his affairs, and which I did not give one fuck about. I had no fucks to give on that, So I've never really, cared for the guy. Just thought he was a joke and someone that whatever seconds I might have spent looking at Inquirer cover or channel surfing and seeing him on some gossip show or someone talking about him on a gossip show, those were seconds of my life that I'll never get back, and that were wasted on him. DPD 5844 says, I am encouraging everyone to check on their neighbors to see if they need anything. Maybe you can barter service because times are going to get worse, so extend a helping hand if you can. Definitely, we need to come together more than ever. We need to know our neighbors, know their names. We need to have a good support system in place. Now more than probably maybe since, who knows when. World War II or something. Janelle Walker, it's moms. Yeah, so that's how far back I am in the chat, because that was 10 minutes ago, I guess. Chris Doug says big turnouts in Denver, Philly, and Boston. Big steering wheel. Yeah, she had that. Looked like a big steering wheel. Janelle says moms is Florida. I'm sure that was fun. Yeah, Donald Leary can't remember either. I remember there was an explanation as to what yellow symbolizes or something. I can't remember. Robert says, only in the movies, Johnny, would you get... Well, someone brought it up. Oh, it was Mr. Bob Newell that posed the question. And I thought it was a good one. And again, it's a hypothetical. That if you could get a free condo at Trump Tower, would you take it? And I said yes. So, under my current situation, hell yeah. As long as, and again, this is hypothetical, but as long as, it wasn't full of bugs and shit and crap, and it wasn't all just dilapidated, and I felt unsafe, like the building was, about to fall down or something. But if it's in good shape and it's sturdy and it's clean and it's bug free and all that shit, then yeah, fuck yeah. It's right across the street from Central Park. I'll go down to Tavern on the Green and have a fucking drink, man. Janelle says, F that, Trucker John. I'm not sure what she's effing. It might be the Trump Tower thing. Mr. Spock says, that's what the billionaires want. A controlled World War III. Mr. Spock says, get rid of people. Diane Rosa says, they want to tell us how to live our lives and pay their taxes for them. That sounds about right. Barbara Nicholas says, Janelle, someone in chat told TJ to wear a yellow shirt to the march. Well, not just me. They were telling everybody. I mean, that was coming out from the No Kings organization, because I signed up for it. I actually signed up, and I actually RSVP'd, and ever since then, I'm on their mailing list or whatever, and they've been sending me emails multiple times a day, and one of them was to wear yellow. In fact, that might have been where the explanation was in one of those emails about what it symbolizes. Chris Doug says CNN lamestream media ran their regular Saturday programming today with little to no coverage of No Kings. Meanwhile, MSNBC has all-day coverage. Yeah, fuck CNN. I agree. I agree, Chris Doug. Fuck CNN. Robert Perez says, be a good Christian and remember the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill, not even a roach, laughing out loud. Yeah, I didn't see the fine print on that one. That must have been in the fine print. So yeah, there's Portland. Look at them. They got their signs up there, and there's there's an overpass. Is that the overpass Jen is at? I wonder. Where's Jen? I want to see Jen. I guess if you see a big sign that says Trump fuck kids, then we'll know that that's the right overpass. Due process for all. Nope. With the Trump. Then that says we won. I don't know what else it says. Where's Jen? Up the base. Roxanne, I'm looking for him. Where is he? Point him out. Point him out. Yeah, zoom in. Let's see. Is that Jen with the cowboy hat? It says due process, rule of law, not. God dang it, it's not something. So we're gonna look at the sky. Nice camera work. Nice fucking camera work. Who gives a fuck about the sky? Come on, bring it down. Dipshit. What the fuck is with this camera work? Did the guy get knocked down? He got knocked down and his camera is just shooting up. Maybe he got knocked down. Maybe he got hit with a pepper spray ball or something. Let's see. Is there any audio on this? Well, he's not screaming in pain. I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking there, cameraman. I get it. Sometimes the camera, your arm gets tired or something. Now we got over the shoulder look over there. Diane Russell says, sadly, Robert, roaches don't follow the teachings of Jesus. Chris Doug says, if I wore a yellow t-shirt, I would look like an over-plumped banana. Mr. Spock yellow card in soccer. Sandy folks, if you're going to New York, come to Niagara Falls. Sandy, I don't think I'm going to get the Trump Tower condo anytime soon. Okay, that was just a hypothetical that someone posed. Chris Doug says aerial shot of San Francisco shows massive crowds. Steven Sayer says, and no health care for the rest of us. Janelle Walker says that's probably why moms had a run-in with someone at Trucker John. About the yellow shirt? No. Hey, where's your yellow shirt? No, I'm just kidding. Diane says, hi, Steven Sayers. In their philosophy, healthcare is a privilege, not a right. So there's Portland. What else we got? We got Chicago. There's Chicago. Oh, Eyewitness News. Okay. If they don't get to the live shot within the next couple seconds here, I'm going to go to the next one. Okay, fuck it. No Kings protest. There's USA Today with a blurry fucking shot. I don't know what the fuck that is. May contain graphic language, it says.
To obey the Constitution.
I don't know why it's so fucking blurry shot there.
Of Judge Perry, we have had even the support of his good buddy, Governor of Oklahoma State, who currently is the president of the Governors Association of the nation right now. And he called Governor Abbott out. So let's call Governor Abbott out. Okay.
That's just a shitty shot. It's somewhere, it might have been Texas. Talking about Abbott. There's no Kings protest in Kansas City. We got Kansas City. Stream starting soon. 74 watching there. No Kings Live. Free Speech TV. Here's Free Speech TV. Someone mentioned that. Here we got Free Speech TV. Here's Denver, Colorado. Hey, David Weiss. Are you there? Is that David Weiss?
One time for our brother Billy Scully. Make some noise.
Play it, Brother Scully, or whatever his name was. It's going to be shredded. I don't know if this is a copyrighted song, so I'm going to turn that down. There they are on the steps somewhere in Denver, playing some music for the No Kings. All right, so there's that. What else we got? We got Detroit. Look at Detroit. Detroit checking in. Look at those people there in front of this big building in Detroit. This is Fox 2 Detroit. Started 1 hour ago. They're buffering. So I'm not the only one that has buffering issues from time to time. Successfully connected. So there's Detroit. Bunch of people meeting out there. I don't know if this is their civic center or their courthouse or their Capitol building or not Capitol, whatever the fuck. But there they are. Over there, that's Detroit. Here's New York Post. For their live coverage is expected, so they're on a break or whatever. Here we got weather in Arkansas. No Kings across America. Look at that. Where's this at? It's across America somewhere. Does anyone recognize those buildings? I don't know. Do we got sound? No sound. Ooh. Fucking hit it. Someone hit a bus. No Kings protesters. Dallas, Fort Worth. Dang, that looks like the U.S. Capitol. Is that Dallas Capitol? Well, Austin is the capital, right? But this is not D.C. because the background is different. But damn. So there's Dallas. I don't know why they're showing that shot. Let's see. Here's Phoenix, Arizona. Or as I like to say, hell. Fox Local streaming live. Again, no audio. They're not. A lot of these stations aren't even playing audio for some reason. But you can see a lot of people there in the shot. And this is a Dallas station. It says across the country, so I don't know if this is Dallas or not. If they would not wiggle the camera so much, I could see what these cops are from. Let's see. Their uniforms say anything. Where they're from, I can't read it. Should say, move along, move along. They got the cops on bikes for some reason, trying to maintain order, I guess. I don't know. There's a news guy with a big fucking camera right there. That's a news reporter right there. What's with him? She's got a flashlight. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, lots of folks out and about doing their things. Chris Doug says Midas Touch said crowds in the tens of millions and still counting. We'll get a tally tomorrow, but the Republicans will downplay and deny the numbers and blame Antifa. Robert Press says the only time I was present at a car drive-by shooting was at the Tommy's Burgers in Rampart in LA back in 1987. Scary place to eat. That would give me heartburn. That might induce the heartburn. Let's see. What else we got here? Roxanne, what channel are you watching? I want to put up. Well, I've been going around. I don't even know which. I've been just. Like right now, I'm on Fox Local. This is a Dallas one, I think. Don O'Leary says, I never realized Trump Tower was near Tiffany's in New York. I never noticed. I remember I was there in, I think it was in 2006, was it? And I stayed at a hotel kind of like north of the Empire State Building. If you guys know that, like, I don't, because I'm trying to think of landmarks, and I've only been there once. It was a few blocks north of there. I stayed at a hotel, and then I had a thing to do. I've told the story before where I went on to audition for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Anyhow, I walked, and that wasn't until the evening. So I got up in the morning. I think I went to this really nice little deli restaurant, had a breakfast there, and then I just walked instead of getting a cab. I wanted to walk, and that's why I left early, because the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire wasn't until I think like 6 in the evening or something. So I had all day, and I don't know how many miles I was. Probably, back in those days I could walk. Actually, I could walk pretty good. So this is like 20 years ago. So and I think I walked in total to get from my hotel to the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire ABC studio thing. I think it was like 5 or 6 miles, or maybe less. I don't know, but at least 5 miles, maybe more. I don't know. It kind of took me all day. And so I just remember I was, I actually went into the Empire State Building. I did the little tour. This is how much time I had to kill. I went to the tour. I went to the top of the Empire State Building, came back down, kept walking. I ended up walking to, like Times Square. Along between Empire State Building and Times Square, there were some things that I saw that were kind of notable. I think I remember seeing Tiffany's somewhere around there, around Times Square, maybe. I don't know. I forget exactly where Tiffany. Because I think I walked into Tiffany's just to walk in. I didn't do any shopping, or I just wanted to, because it's kind of famous. So I think I did walk in there, or maybe it was Macy's or something. I don't know. I think I walked into Macy's just to check it out, because it seems like it's just a store, but it's like a famous New York store. And then I remember walking around Times Square. And then I had lunch at the Hooters, which is right near Broadway and all that. I remember walking over to like the Wall Street on Wall Street, and actually seeing that bull. They have that sculpture of the bull and everything. I saw that, and then I made my way over closer to the studio. I remember walking into. I think I walked past Trump Tower. And at that time in 2006, I was just like, "Oh, there's Trump Tower," like that's cool, there it is. It was kind of a famous building even back then. But I was like, "Oh, there," and I think I took a picture of Trump Tower. I didn't flip it off then because I didn't. This is way before Trump running for president. This is like 10 years before that. And then right across the street, as I recall, if I'm recalling correctly, was Central Park. And I think I walked out into Central Park a little bit, and then I walked across a field, and you could see Tavern on the Green. And I just remember, oh, Tavern on the Green is famous. So I walked over to Tavern on the Green. I think I went in because they do. I think they have a bar, and then I think they have a restaurant that are kind of separate. And I think I just went into the bar. I think I had a drink. I think I went ahead and had a beer or something, or I might have had a mixed drink of some sort, just for the hell of it, just because it's Tavern on the Green. And then I did that, and then it was getting to around time to go to the ABC studios, and it was just a few blocks away from there, and I just went to that. So Trump Tower was pretty close to all these studios. This is like ABC studios is there. All these, I think NBC, CBS. That's where they shoot a lot of the soap operas. Is right there. A lot of those are New York. Some of them are, I guess, Hollywood, but a lot of them, or at least back in 2006, were still shooting in New York. So anyhow, that's my recollection of Trump Tower. I'm pretty sure Trump Tower is on. I'm not sure what street that is. It's kind of like you walk inward from like Broadway and all that, and then whatever street that is, I don't even remember. But then right across the street, I think, is Central Park. Like there's no buildings facing it or across the street from it. It's just all like the Central Park. If I'm remembering right, I bet you the one person who might know is Kinky Streets, and he's probably left because I think I pissed him off. Chris Doug says live shot LA includes American flags everywhere, and thankfully lots of young people. I'm gonna turn the AC on. It's starting to get hot in here. Don O'Leary says Trucker John, oh my God, lunch at Tavern on the Green was best. Even found a little painted picture of and still have it. Yeah, I don't get anything to eat there. I think I had already eaten at Hooters, and so I just went in there and I think I just got a drink, just so I could say, hey, I had a drink at Tavern on the Green. David Wells says not there. I wanted to go downtown. I had to stay closer to a bathroom. Janelle Walker says I think 5 Eggs and Diane are there. Oh, at that Detroit one. Twisted Nerve Painting says, Trucker John, good afternoon. Hello, Twisted Nerve Painting. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Twisted Nerve Painting says, aren't those crowds amazing? Yeah, some of them are really huge. Some of the places are really, really huge. Okay, so this here, I still don't know where this is. It looks like we got a lot of security here. I don't know. So that's not doing anything. Here's Houston. And that was Univision. Here's Southern California. NBC LA started 3 hours ago. I don't know where this is, and if it's. It looks like just a few people along the street there. I don't know exactly where that's at. All right, let's see if there's anything better. Where's weather, live, top stories, no King protest. Live now from Fox. There's Bernie, that was earlier in DC. Even Fox is covering it, which is something I guess CNN wasn't even doing.
I'm talking about the incredible injustice of the top 1% in America now owning more wealth than the bottom 93%.
Here at Live Now, we do prioritize live coverage. As you can see on your screen, we are replaying Bernie Sanders right now, but right now, at the Marine 250th anniversary event, we are seeing some of these speakers beginning the programming, so let's take it live. Let's listen in.
Join the Marines!
So there's the Marines.
I was hoping that some of you would get that reference. I'm glad some of you.
Which is nothing against the Marines, but I want to see what else is with the No Kings going on. Here's another Spanish station. I don't know where this is at. This might be El Paso, maybe? Is that what that says? I'm not sure. So yeah, this is the Spanish station covering it. I don't know where they were at. Let's see, NBC News, streaming. That's a lady and a Cub Scout. You got weather, swift flower and weather, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, what's going on? Top news. No Kings protests across the U.S. Here's back to Portland again. Someone putting their hand in front of the camera for some fucking reason. Hard to see all the people with all the beautiful trees there. Notice how Portland is in ruins. I think that's the Moda Center, right? Over there? Maybe? I think that's where they play basketball, right? What's this dude saying?
Last time we had a big one, and people are agreeing that they do think it seems bigger. Now, of course,
it seems bigger.
For this Portland rally, obviously, with the last month of protest down at our ICE facility, as we're still waiting for rulings about whether or not the National Guard can come into the city. It's adding another layer here for Portlanders, and we're hearing it. We're hearing the outrage from people who are out here protesting, and you can see it in their signs, you can see it in their costumes, and just what they're telling us. So it has definitely been a very interesting day, a beautiful day for protesters. But yeah, as you can see, it does look like it's continuing to clear out. When we got here, you couldn't really see green at all as they continue to push north to continue on march. And that's the scene here in Portland. I'm Jay Coulter for KGW.
And thank you for joining us for this special coverage. We will continue to follow these protests and keep you updated all day right here on 5 Plus.
So that was Portland. Manatee, Sarasota. This is Florida. Is this where Moms Russo was?
There are people that voted for Trump who now are totally sorry they did so, because some of them are low-income people, and now he's cutting out Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act. There's a lot of things that we're not going to have. Health care, I think a lot of people will come to the realization they made a big mistake by voting for Trump.
Yeah, fuck around and find out, but now we're all fucked. Why couldn't they have come to this realization beforehand? And why didn't more people get up and fucking vote? That's what's so frustrating. This could all have been fucking avoided. But people have got to be dumb fucks. That's what pisses me off. This could all have been avoided. You know? We didn't have to be where we are now, you know? Here's downtown Portland. My God, look at the fucking the crater that is Portland. Look at the devastation. Look at the anarchy. Cue the crickets. Cue the crickets in Portland. Do you remember when Trump was saying it's on fire? Portland is burning as we speak. Portland is burning down. It's awful. I have to send in the National Guard. I need to declare a national emergency. Remember when Trump was saying that shit? This is Portland, people. It looks pretty fucking nice to me. In fact, I've been seeing so many fucking videos of Portland lately that I feel like moving to Portland, or at least visiting there, because it looks beautiful. And I've driven through there many times as a truck driver, and I've always thought it was one of the more beautiful big cities, even with all the homeless encampments that you would see along the freeway. Diane says maybe no audio because of people screaming "fuck you, Trump." Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it. I'm just skipping down. I'm just kind of looking. I wasn't watching the chat for a while there, so just seeing what I missed. Guys talking about all the bugs and the rodents. I'm just that's fine. I'm just skipping down a little bit, but that's fine. Great tips on things to do to get rid of those pesky pests. Petrozzi 20 says, "Hey John, you're still on." You know what? That's right. I'm over 3 hours. You know what? I probably should get going. I should probably start getting ready to go. And also, not sure where my battery's probably getting really, really super duper really low. I completely lost track of time. just watching all the stuff. We're just watching the mayhem of Portland. I don't know why this one motherfucker though keeps doing these shots, long shots of the fucking sky. This is the same guy last time, right? So here's Phoenix. Supposedly no kings. Is that Phoenix? Wow. There's a dude in a yellow shirt. Phoenix coming out, I guess. Fuck ice, it says. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I better shut this down before the battery completely dies and the screen goes black. It's already 2:11 here, so yeah, I got to get ready to go. Our thing is going to be starting in a couple hours. So look for me again. I might do a live stream, so be on the lookout. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Maybe that'll help notify you if I'm going live or not. So yeah, we might do some more live streaming tonight. So I better shut this off, get the phone charged back up, and get ready to go. So thanks everybody for being here. I do appreciate you for hanging out. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy did the $2 super chat. Let me go back over here. Yeah, that was Sandy Pulse. Thank you so much, Sandy. I appreciate you. Everybody else, go fuck yourself. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. I love you guys. Like, subscribe, and share. Those don't cost you a dime, and those are great ways of helping the show, sharing the show out, getting us in the algorithm. So thank you guys so much for that. And if I don't see you tonight, later on, if we don't cross paths while I'm over there, I'll see you guys again on Monday live stream, our regular live stream Monday at 11 a.m. right after Hal Sparks. So just remember when you're watching Hal, and if you still feel like hanging out after Hal, you can come on over to the Trucker John channel and we'll hang out some more. All right, guys. Yeah, let me go. I gotta go. I'm gonna make something to eat, take a shower, get ready. I'm gonna hit the bus, go on over to New York, New York. All right. Thanks so much for being here. This was an extra long live stream. I don't usually go this long, and but from the No Kings Central here. Have a happy No Kings Day. Remember, we don't have kings. We have equal branches of government. We have the Constitution. Okay, we have checks and balances, supposedly. That's the way it's supposed to be. We don't want a fucking king. We don't want fucking oligarchs. We want to have good quality of life. And Donald Trump is not providing that for us. He's making everything worse. All right, so that's it for now, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. The only thing left to do is the words of wisdom. So if you want to get a pad and a pen, write this down for today's words of wisdom. And then they're very appropriate for today's No Kings event. So are you guys ready? Here we go. Words of wisdom. Okay, so guys,
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John Livestream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John Livestream. Yeah, the Trucker John Livestream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John Livestream. Know it's time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food and movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues. No shrugs, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love. It's all about the thrills, it's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows, so the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life. Everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot. You're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.